very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us for the Friday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, it's the last one for the week. We promise to make it exciting and make it worth your while to do our best to entertain you and inform you all at once. As we go on the show, we will talk about what's going down in Nigeria, talking about domestic football. We'll take a look at the Nigeria Professional Football League. We'll also take a look at the Nigeria National League. What are the stories coming out of the Nigeria National League? We'll talk about that. At some point, we'll travel to England to talk about the English Premier League. We look at what is happening. We'll also go on to talk about the first Grand Slam of the year. Some heavy moments for world number one, Novak Djokovic. We'll talk about his experience and how he scaled through to the fourth round in Melbourne. That's the outlook of the show tonight. First part of the show, we'll do our best to give you a slice of grassroots sports, grassroots football. We'll continue with our quest to fix the problems in Nigerian football, starting from the grassroots. I have somebody here with me. We'll take a look at some of those issues and what can be done. He will also talk about his own quota into doing all of those things. All right, I want to bring you into all that we're doing on the show. As it is our practice, we always like to let you know that you're very important to us. We take your comments seriously. You always allow us into your living room without knocking. It's a privilege we'll never take for granted. So this is how you can be a part of the show, just in case you join us for the first time or you don't just remember how to do it. That's it. SportsTonight@channelstv.com. Send us a mail on Facebook, Channel 7 Sports. Let us know how you feel on our Twitter handle, the verified handle. We'll brag about it because the conversation never ends. Let's talk as well. @channels_sports. That's how you can get your thoughts out there. We're global, we're international. Let us know how you feel about all the things happening in your amazing world of sports. Before I introduce my partner to you, he starts the show with me, but before I introduce him to you, let's talk about the little matter of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. We'll talk about the Nigerian Nightmare, Kamaru Usman. That's where we're going next. We're talking about him. He is ready to defend his title against Gilbert Burns. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that fight. Usman, nicknamed the Nigerian Nightmare, is seeking to successfully defend his title and add to the number of victories that he has had. Usman is just 31 years, but he's taking the world by storm. And just look at it, a comparison of both fighters, Gilbert Burns on one side, Kamaru Usman on one side. Both guys used to be friends. I don't know if they're going to be friends when they take to the ring. Training partners know a lot about each other. The fight should have happened last year. COVID-19 didn't allow it happen. But that's a tale of the tape. Usman Burns. One is from Nigeria. The other is from Brazil. You look at the height, slight advantage to Usman. You look at the reach also. You want to say slight advantage to Usman in that one. Their stance, of course, Gilbert Burns, orthodox, Nigerian Nightmare, Usman, switch. You look at their records. Usman is seeking for his 18th win. He has just one loss on his resume, just one loss on his CV. But of course, Gilbert has 19 wins and 3 losses. So we'll see who's going to come out tops in that one. Bout to take place this weekend. And of course, you know where our loyalty is, hearts and minds with, of course, Nigerian Nightmare. But at the end of the day, in sports, we always say, may the best man win. May the best man win. When we return here next week, we'll be able to tell you what happened. Hopefully, it will be a story of how the Nigerian Nightmare prevailed over his opponent. So with that out of the way, let's go on now and talk about grassroots sports. In focus, football. I want to quickly introduce my partner on the show. We're going to do the first part of the show together. Pascal Agonsi joins me on the show. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for taking out time from your busy schedule to be on the show tonight.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be on Sports Tonight.
All right, let's just start by talking about how, I mean, we've always had a challenge doing the right things with grassroots. But COVID-19 is a game changer. It has affected. I know you're involved in a lot of things trying to see how you can contribute your quota to developing football at the grassroots. But first, let's start by talking about how all of those things were hampered by COVID-19.
Well, like you said, COVID-19 was really a game changer. It changed a lot of things, not just for football, but also in the industry. It forced a lot of us to start thinking differently, new ways. And I think it was a blessing in disguise for grassroots football, because we really needed to start thinking in a new way of how to take the football forward. So I think COVID-19 was a blessing. It really, forces us to think, about the sport, most especially because for every football industry now, the focus is about, exporting their content instead of exporting players, which grassroots football in Nigeria has been all about.
All right, so before we can talk about solving problems, we have to identify, and that will take us to what you were doing. But what are the problems, basically? I know it was a challenge even before COVID. What are the problems? What did you see? You just talked about one. Yeah. We seem to be more interested in play football, travel abroad. Yeah. We're not interested in the structure, which is just, are you good playing football? Let me keep you in one academy. Somebody sees you, takes you abroad. That's what we tend to do. Yeah.
So you're right. There's a problem. The major problem is that we don't see sports as a business yet. So it's about having a business approach to sports. And then in any business, there are 5 foundations that must be laid. First, you must be able to create value. You must be able to market that value. You must be able to sell that value. And you must also deliver that value and also focus on finance. Because every business that doesn't create value is a hobby. Any business any business that feels that marketing is a flop, any business that doesn't sell the value it creates, it's a non-profit. And any business that fails to deliver a value is a scam. And any business that doesn't focus on finance will definitely fail and close. And that's grassroots football in Nigeria.
All right. So, and since you have eloquently put all of this, one will be tempted to ask, what is your level of involvement in grassroots football, and why did you take it upon yourself to correct some of the things you see that is wrong in the system?
Yeah, so basically it's a leadership thing, I used to say the way grassroots football is, we can't leave it for the NFF. It's not NFF business, it's for all of us. And for us we have to be the leaders that we hope
to be.
To be, or we have to be the leaders that we hope we have. So if we're not trying to be the leaders that we hope to have, that means we're not ready to change. So I thought about, sharing the struggle, because I grew up with players that played in the grassroots and had high hopes, but there was nobody to share the struggle with them. So, and leadership is really about giving hope, to the people that are in the struggle together. So that's why I'm involved in grassroots sports.
Okay, so since we are at the heart of the matter now, so what are the things you intend to do, or what are the things you have been doing? Your journey.
So far, when we started in 2016, we tried to, give hope to grassroots players, because I grew up with some people that wanted to play football, so sometimes we help.
Did it work out?
It didn't work out. They traveled outside, but when they got outside the country, it was a different experience. We hear so many stories about these agents. They were fake agents. So I said, okay, let me go into agency to see how I could get it. So I found out that most of the players that were presenting didn't really have the quality or the technical details, and they have zero knowledge about what it takes to play professional football. So I said, yes, we have to educate these people at the grassroots. They need to understand that what it takes to play professional football, which most of the coaches
Which you can start from the top.
Yes, which can start from the top, which has to start from the bottom, because the first thing is that you won't take this as a career. You have to see yourself as a business. So most of them don't see themselves as a business. Don't see themselves as they need to improve. They need to work on their marketing and all that. So we try to bring this education to the grassroots. And a fundamental part of it is that for you to be a player, you have to create attention for yourself. And most of these players don't have the platform to be able to create attention. But thank God for the internet. Thank God for media. So what we're trying to do is to create a platform whereby these talents can be seen. and we don't really have a lot, so we started to use with exactly what we have, what is available, you know, because if you're going to the bank to say, okay, you need the money to build a stadium, it doesn't make sense because there's no business case. And you can't go to the government because the government is not a bank. So you really have to use what you have until you're able to, you know, get the resources that you need to go forward.
Okay, so that's good. So how has it been like? What are the things you've done to help, you know, in terms of educating these people, in terms of, I mean, the goals that you set out to achieve?
Okay, so basically the idea is to take grassroots football to turn it into a business. And then it starts, when you talk about football business, it starts from the major things you need are the players and an audience to sell. So you really have to start by creating a system whereby people can, you know, these players can develop, they can showcase, at the same time they can track the audience. So we thought of coming up with a league, you know, like a showcase league, because you can't play football alone.
Yeah.
You have to play football with people. So
people have to see you play.
People have to see you play. So we went into our community in Bagada. You know, we had some grassroots teams, so we brought them together. Let's play like a league structure so that we can create opportunities for these players to develop and at the same time to promote them. So that's what we've been doing since 2019. Even in 2020, after the COVID-19 restrictions were relaxed, we also had the league going. So it's not been easy because it's basically community-based, supported by the players themselves. Because if you're not ready to invest in yourself, you don't expect
anybody to.
Yeah, to do that. So that's the education that we're giving them. That look, you are a business on your own, and we can do this. Yeah.
How has it been received? Because I was reading up on some of your activities. I discovered that you've gotten 1 or 2 endorsements even outside of the country, your efforts and activities being recognized. But before we talk about what is an endorsement, how has it been received here? The people here, football administrators, parents of our aspiring footballers, the footballers themselves, the community you're based in.
Well, the reaction has been mixed, but it's expected because of the mindset of.
Let me butt in. Let me ask:
Okay.
Is this what you intend to be in for a long haul, or is something, if it doesn't work, let's try something else?
No, it's something we're going to be in for the long run because I mean, for the next 10 years, this is basically what we'll be doing, because. You know what they say about business is that 90% die in the first 5 years.
Yeah,
only 1% survive in the first 10 years. So we're already like clocking 5 years now. So it's something we're doing for the long run. The dream is to create, you know, what you see in the EPL, to create that in the grassroots, because these players really need the opportunities. There's no opportunities for them up there because there are millions of grassroots players that are being developed every day. Millions, and the opportunities up there is not available for millions. So we are willing to, in our own communities, to create leagues that will accommodate these players, not just in Lagos, in Bagada, but over the whole country. Each local government needs to have its own league so that we can actually accommodate these players, because as we speak, only 19 players play in the top 5 leagues, 19 Nigerians play in the top 5 league in the world. Currently. And about 700 are scattered in different countries of the world. So if we're talking about 700 people playing outside Nigeria, in the Premier, in our own league, it's only about 500 or 600 players that is catered for, and we have millions. So what happens to the dreams of these players? So we need more opportunities. So what we're doing at Tops is to create a model that every community can copy and run, so that they can create opportunities for
on their own.
Yes, for their own.
Okay, let's go back to what I asked you initially.
Yeah.
So how has it been received? You said it is mixed. Mixed meaning some appreciate what you do, some come in way of opposition. What are these guys up to? And some applaud.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes, you're right. But you know, in every market, you know, only 3% will happily accept you. You know, when you come in, the rest needs to be educated. They need to be sure of what you do, what you're doing. And you actually need to build their trust and their belief that, okay, you're for real. I mean, that's what the Premiership and these top leagues have done all over the years. So you coming in, and then, you know, you just need to build the trust and belief, and with consistency, you get there.
So when you now discovered that some of the things that you're doing that is not well known here in this parts, that you're getting endorsements. I mean, how did you make you feel? First of all, how did it make you feel that, you know, some of the little things that you're doing is even recognized outside the shores of the country?
It was amazing, but that's the power of the internet. That's the power of you know, digital world that we have today, and it's the power of mindset. You know, the mindset here is different from there, because there they can see the dream, they can see what's happening, because that is what they have done. You know, so they understand that, and you know, they say this is useful to them, because most of there's no opportunities for these African players, because the typical African player will meet these guys online and be saying, hey, I want to try out, help me, this, that. So mine is a different approach. Look, this is what we're doing. If you can just talk about it so that these people can believe, yeah, they get the attention that they need. And we had Arsenal legend, you know, endorse the project. We'll have
Arsenal Kanu Nwankwo?
No, yeah, he talked about Kanu Nwankwo, Nigel Winterborn.
Oh, Nigel Winterborn. Okay.
Yeah, so he talked about
former Arsenal left back.
Yes, left back before Ashley Costa played. So he knows about the project, and he's hoping to see the next Kanu. He talked about Kanu, you know, in that endorsement video. And there's also players from the Bulgarian national team who played in Nigeria against USC 94, Emil Kremiliv. Okay. And then this other guy, recent Elin Topozakov.
Okay.
You know, so they see the dream, but and they want this to happen. So they are really supporting morally, you know, and it gives us the courage that the world is actually watching, and also for us to move to the next stage in grassroots football, which is exporting content instead of exporting players.
All right, I guess that's a good place to leave it. I wish you all the best in all you do. Of course, we're all going to benefit if everything develops from the grassroots. Yeah. And this is hoping that your efforts will yield the results that you want. And maybe the next time we'll be talking about a lot of growth in all the things that you do. We've been having a chat with Paul Agonsi. He's been talking about grassroots sports development. It's efforts geared towards developing football, helping youngsters achieve their dream, and making it a business. That's what he's been trying to do. So hopefully he gets to achieve some of the things he wants to. All right, so we need to go on a break right about now. First, I want to say thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Hopefully we'll get to do this some other time.
Yeah.
Yep. And so go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, we'll come to talk about Nigeria Professional Football League and other things, all other related issues on the domestic scene. Welcome back. We're back from that break. We started the show talking grassroots football, of course, efforts to develop the game on the domestic scene. So we're done with that. It's time to talk about football on the domestic scene, football played professionally, that is, and we're going to be taking a look at the Nigeria National League and, of course, the Nigeria Professional Football League. Then at some point we'll go to England and talk about the English Premier League. First, I want to introduce my partner. We've made a change, and of course Pascal Agonsi has left, and Ikenna Chukwendu is here with me. Ikenna, it's been a while, but it's good to have you join me tonight.
Fantastic. I've been out for a while, but I'm glad to be here. So it's a Friday. Friday is all about sports.
Yep.
It's a weekend, so I'm here. I'm glad I'm here to discuss sports with you. Yeah.
All right. Let's also allow our man Alfred Okoligwe pitch in. Greetings to you, Alfred. It's nice to have you join us on the show tonight. Okay. All right. Alfred needs to unmute so that he can listen to us. But while he's still sorting that out, we'll continue with the conversation, and of course we'll allow him join us. So, okay, Alfred, greetings to you. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Yeah, sorry, I've muted. I'm excited to be here. particularly for what the weekend holds for Nigerian football. It's an LMC fixture, but it's a continental game. I mean the game in Aba to know the Nigerian team that will play in the group stage of the CAF Confederations Cup. The stakes couldn't be higher, and a lot. I did something like a countdown to this game during the week, and I can tell you that from both ends, from both sides, really excited. We're looking forward to an exciting game this weekend in Aba.
Let me stay with you, Alfred. Tell us what you have gathered. Nigerian National League games to be played, stories surrounding it. A lot of people are skeptical because some of the things that they are hearing. But what have you gathered, and what do you hope to see?
For the Nigerian National League, it's about time. Last season, there was no team that was promoted or demoted. 48 teams participating in this one. And they've taken their time this time around to see that they cross the T's and dot the I's to ensure that we have the season up and running. It's been moved severally. I mean, the kickoff date of the league moved severally. They wanted to perfect all of the processes before they kick off. I think in that respect, the Nigerian Football Federation, the CEO of the league, our good friend Adesanya, and he and his team been working tirelessly. Also forgetting Senator Obinna Ogba, who heads the board of the NNL. I think it's about time that we have that league up and running. They call themselves the most important league in the land, and it's not just for the name. I mean, if you look at the caliber of teams that play in the NNL, you could just see in terms of popularity, in terms of branding, you have teams that can rival teams in the MPFL, and some of them have been out of the MPFL for a while that they really want to come back, while others, the excitement that teams like, for example, Vandreza, Joy Comet brings, and you look at these are new names, these are new teams in the league that really want to show that they are good enough to make progress in the NLL. It's not surprising that they call the most important league, but I think they've the teething problems that you have. I'm wondering, I'm waiting to see how they navigate the issue of funding, which of course made the league not to go on after like 3-4 weeks last season. The season was called off. This time around, I hope that they've sorted all of that issues. But I'm excitedly looking forward to an exciting season because some of the teams that play in this league are teams themselves can pull the crowd, that get people to stadium to see them. And of course, when you look at the history running through a team like Shooting Stars, for example, you say, hey, this is a team that should be in the Premier League and not in the NLL. And so for their fans, they're looking forward to an exciting season.
All right. That's a nice wrap up, Alfred. Let's take a look at the fixtures, everything to start as scheduled. So let's see Division A1, A2, B1, and B2. Let's see what's going to happen. We'll get Ikena's thoughts on all of that. And I agree with Alfred that some teams here that just hearing that name alone will probably, because of the history they have, will make you want to go to the stadium and see what they are up to. All right. Division A1, you have the teams that you have on your screen. Rara FC will take on Gombe United. Sokoto United will take on Aklosendi International. These are matches that will be played tomorrow in Group A1. Let's move on quickly and go to A2. Couple of matches. Niger Tornado will take on GSK, Shekarau FC. You have Road Safety will take on ABS. ABS used to be in top flight. Abubakar Bukola Saraki FC, that's what they are called. You have DMD FC will take on Kogi United. Kebbi United take on Yobe Desert Stars. Used to be up there at some point too. Let's go to, well, you could call it the Southern Division. Group B1, you have Crown FC will take on Holy Harrows. What a name. What a name. Julius Atete FC will take on Abia Comets. Ibom Youth will take on FC1 Rocket. Very interesting names in the Nigeria National League. Let's go to Division B2 quickly. Of course, we have Go Round FC will take on Osun United. A couple of seasons ago, a lot of people were waxing lyrical about how well Osun United were playing and how unlucky they were not to make it into the top flight. Hopefully they'll be able to achieve.
Same goes to go round.
Go round as well.
They did very well.
All right.
At the point.
Stationary Stars I mean that name. I grew up watching stationery stores. Didn't get to see them at the stadium, but I grew up. I mean, I know a couple of their players. They will be up against Giant Brillas, Delta Force against Van Dressa. There's a lot of hype around Van Dressa, especially because they have come to Lagos. But Ikeda, let me get your thoughts. Maybe one or two games in there that you want to talk about.
I think Van Dressa.
Okay.
They have the hype around them, being privately run. The things they are doing online. You know, the media hype they create around themselves. So everyone wants to see how, and their move to Lagos can come at a better time.
Yeah.
So everybody is interested to see how they are going to fare. And if you ask me, I think from the comments, people want to see them in the MPFL.
Yeah.
So it's one of those games one of those teams you want to follow. Then another one is the nostalgia with stationery stores.
Yes.
It's been a long while. You understand?
It's too long.
They are the traditional Lagos team.
Yeah.
They have a lot of followership.
Yeah.
If they come back to the MPFL,
If they can sort themselves out.
You know, the internal issues, if you can sort it out, a lot of people will follow them. And I'm silent. I want to see them back in the MPFL because I want to see that tradition. Those teams come back to the MPFL. Like Alfred said, is who in the NNL. You know, the boys that made the things happen in the MPFL are all in the NNL. So, well,
we'll see.
We'll see.
but I have an interesting question for you. When we're listening to I think it was the chief operating officer of he was talking about how they're going to manage the situation. 4 teams will be using the Agege Stadium. MFM is still there in the top flight. It's going to take a lot of management to assure no clashes in fixture and to that the integrity of the stuff
is maintained. And who gets priority? Yes, you understand. If because some people because of the hustle and bustle in Lagos, teams want to play on Sundays.
Yeah.
And that is what's it called? MFM's
because they want their fans to see them.
Fans to see them. Plus the branding too.
Yes.
So it's going to be
a lot of work.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work and a lot of things to ask the stadium management.
It's tasking.
Yeah. But I think the Tessin Balogun Stadium is open now. It's free. So maybe some of these things can relocate to that place to free up space at the stadium. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Let me get Alfred's thoughts on that issue as well. It's going to be down to management, the stadium manager, the NNL, even the teams. They'll need to sit together and talk. Is it going to be too much to ask, or it can be well managed?
I think it can be well managed. If they play in alternate weeks, for example, a team like MFM this weekend will be playing in Kano. They won't use the Agege Stadium. And who says double headers cannot happen in the NNL? It's just balancing these games. And because the thing about the Agege Stadium is, you know, it's a smaller ground, so it makes the ambient a bit better. Teslim Balogun is one big place. If you meet a team that can really knock the ball around, use space, you run into trouble. That's why a lot of teams prefer to play in Agege Stadium. One interesting thing about this NNL is we'll begin to see city rivals, city rivalry. Like in Lagos, for example, Joy Comet, Van Dressa, the teams in Lagos, all of them. And that city rivalry will be there. In Abeokuta, for example, you have Nilayo FC, you have Gateway. You know, these are teams that are closer. In Enugu, Giant Brillas and the rest of them. So you have teams that are closer. That city rivalry, you know, where the bragging rights, who get it, something that to bring in their head. So I'm particularly looking forward to this NNL season.
All right.
For what it holds, and I just wish, you know, for the effort that these guys have put in to see that this league is up and running. It's something that I just pray that it pays off, and perhaps maybe sponsorship, they get that sponsorship that they really need, because they need it at this trying time when there are no gate takings, when you know, fans don't come around. You need that level of support from corporate Nigeria and the league to see them really flourish.
All right, good one, Alfred. All right, let's talk about the Nigeria Professional Football League match day 10. Let's take a look at the fixtures, and I trust you guys are going to tell me stories around the matches and what to expect. But I want to reel out the fixtures first. I'll let Ikena talk to me about what to expect. Nasarawa United will be up against Aqua United. Katsina United will take on Jigawa Golden Stars. Adamawa United will take on FC Ifeanyi Ubah. Kano Pillars will be up against MFM. These are some of the matches. 8 matches will be played this week, and of course, you know why. 2 teams on the continent. Those 2 teams and their opponents will not be in action. Atlant take on Lobby Stars. Wiki Tories take on Sunshine Stars. Kwara United struggled. If there was relegation last season, it would have gone down. But they are up there, up against Dakar, Abia Warriors, and Rangers International. All right, Ikena, which games do you think we should look out for, and what do you think is going to happen in some of the centers?
Well, first of all, let me give kudos to the LMC for the MPFL TV. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
And to think that it's an experiment, they're still experimenting, is wonderful. Now, the interesting thing about this young season is how teams are going out. Nobody is playing with fear anymore. Nasarawa United lost at home, and they're going to play Aqua United this.
You agree with people that say venues are now looking like neutral venues now? Do you agree with people who say so?
Yeah, I think
because you could go anywhere and win.
I agree with that school of thought. I totally agree. But now there is a confidence building in some teams. You understand? You can go away and pick a point. There's nothing holding you. Okay, so Enyimba has gone back-to-back away games and they've won. Aqua United, they're doing well. But one of the fixture I'm very interested in is how Mama is going to do against his former side.
Oh. Now that with this current situation,
but they're beginning to pick up a little, and they played a nice game against Zakada in the last fixture. So I think that game is one of the games I'm going to look out for because it's closer home. I had to Enugu, so I think it will be one hell of a battle for both teams.
All right, so we'll see what happens. Let me go to Alfred and which games. Do you think, for sentimental reasons, Kano Pillars and MFM, I hope MFM are able to sort themselves out, all of the things we are hearing, some internal issues. I hope they get to sort it out. Some of the things that we're reading, not so good, but I also think that might be a good game as well.
The thing about that MFM story is Tony Bulus was their last game. It was when journalists were, asking him the question of what did you do wrong. He was bullish the way he approached that post-match press conference. I'm the one in charge. I take the decision. The next thing we hear is that he's been suspended. The assistant also left the club. The secretary, and the kind of form that MFM is presently is what we call relegation form. If you continue like this, where you can't pick points at home. You're losing at home, and you at best drawing and draw at best. That's the best they've got so far. Drawing on the away ground, that form will sink you in the MPFL. And I think the sponsors of the club, they're just looking at that. Dropping from the MPFL will be a massive blow, especially for Lagos teams, and so for some of us, very apprehensive. Perhaps maybe they'll just turn it around, get players in, sign players, because the life at the Premier League, it's not like before. Like Ikena said, and I want to agree with him completely. Teams, there is this fear factor that is no longer there. Teams come out and they come at you. The ones you think that you don't even have the energy to, they come at you and they know that they get the point. Nothing will happen. The referees are there, protected. Okay, the fans that you would have deployed in time past to say, okay, help us cause all of the intimidation, they are not there.
They're not there.
They are not. The fans are not there. It is between you, the referees, and do what they want to do. And that's why the number of games that teams win on the road now. For example, the last time Enyimba lost on the road was that loss against Atlant in Norway. Since then, they've gone 2 games away and picked the points. One game I really want to see, Ikena mentioned it, is the game in Okigwe. Now, there's a lot riding on that game. Apart from Imama being the former coach of Rangers International, there's a certain Shedrack Asiewu. If you know Abia Warriors very well, one of the foundation players that, part of that team was Shedrack Asiewu. He's been with them for like 4 or 5 seasons. Last season, he joined Rangers. And I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow he's handed the captain's armband. They did it to Femi that left Dakada to join Rangers. The day they played Dakada, they gave him the captain's armband. He put up a 5-star performance. Rangers got what they wanted in that game. This time around, Shedrack Asiebu will be spoiling to go to Okigwe because these are his teammates. I mean, those are the kind of stories you want to see. Going back to your roots and proving your mouth. So for me, that's one game I really want to see how it will turn out. And Shedrack Asiebu for me is one of the exciting prospects in the Nigerian Premier League. I've seen him play close quarter. That guy is a football. It's a naturally gifted player, and I want to see how he performs in this one. For Abia Warriors, they may have turned the corner with the kind of result they have lately. Let's see against the Flying Antelopes so that they will maintain that momentum.
All right. But does Ikena agree that they've turned the corner? Do you think so?
Yes, I think so. They're playing better and they're scoring the goals. It was difficult for them, but now they are beginning to sort themselves out. Yes, they lost the last game, but I think they are beginning. You can see there's progress in their play.
All right.
So I think they're
going in the right direction.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they did fire the coach at the end of the day. So
okay. Yeah. That would have caused more problems.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. Earlier, Alfred said on paper it looks like an MPFL game, but don't be mistaken, it's a continental clash. Rivers United and the Aba Elephants Enyimba would play final qualifying round of the CAF Confederation Cup. And I want to start with Ikena. On the backdrop of the Rivers State governor making those promises for the players of Rivers United and Rivers Angels, and the rivalry that had existed before they got to this point. No, you're in a position that should have been mine, and all the drama. I mean, there's no better time for us to have this game.
Someone said today that the Rivers government is motivating Rivers United with cash. Who is motivating Enyimba? Playing for Enyimba is motivation enough.
Yes.
They are the best team in Nigeria. And if this game was played, let's say 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, I can give it to Rivers United. But right now, the current form of Enyimba, the strikers are firing all cylinders. It's going to.
They seem more settled.
Yes, they seem more settled because they were all new at the beginning of the season. But now they seem to have settled down, and they have picked up the players that can start the game. It's going to be a brand new game between Rangers. It's going to be because it's winner takes it all. There's no second chance. Maybe go down to the under competition. If you win this
on 2 legs, you have to be the best.
You have to be the best. You win it, you move to the.
I know it's hard to call. No match has been played. It's hard to call, but which one of the two teams? It's hard for us to watch as Nigerians because we would have loved to see the two of them.
Yeah.
But it's going to be one of them.
You see, you don't take anything away from Rivers United. They did their recruitment very well, and Enyimba's Anemina and Afolokai, they are now in Rivers United, so they know a bit about who they are going to play.
Yeah,
Agoda has been scoring. Agoda has scored in all the games played in the continental phase. I mean, from the prelims, he has scored some of the goals in each game. So it's a tough one to call.
It's tough.
It's tough to call, but something said I'll give it to Enyimba. I'm putting my
even without a ball being kicked. Okay, all right. Let me go to Alfred. I don't know if you agree with me that there's no better time for us with all the hype, everything around this game. There's no better time for us to have this game.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you that they are not just going to play 2 games; they're going to play 3 games because right after the continental engagement, there's going to be a 1-week break. The second leg will hold. After that, the next fixture in the MPFL is Rivers United, Enyimba. So they will be at some point they will be tired of playing each other. That's the way the setup has gone. Like you said, this is the game for all ages. A lot is riding on this game. Yes, Enyimba, when it comes to Nigerian football, is a poster boy of Nigerian football. Played, won the Continental Trophy back to back. Well, but it's been over 20 years that has happened. And so there's not been any other trophy after then on the continent. But when it comes to the league and the cup, they've done well for themselves. Now look at this. Stanley Eguma was a former coach of Enyimba. So he understands. And then I think that for Rivers United, they have working for them. They've gone to Aba this season. Recall that they beat Abia Warriors in Aba, the first game that Abia Warriors lost at home. So they've played in that stadium, the Aba Township Stadium. So they seem to know their way around there. And look at the kind of guys that they recruited. You talked about Ikenna talked about Aguda comes with bag full of experience playing on the continent with Rangers International. We know what he did for Rangers. He won the league with Rangers International in 2016. It's gone abroad, come back, he's playing with them. And they have a bunch of other players. Somebody like even the captain of the team has not had a starting shirt in most of the games that they played, for Rivers United. So the boys that they've brought have delivered some sort. But my problem with Rivers United is when it comes to picking points of the road, except for the point that they picked against Abia Warriors in Aba.
Alfred,
there are other travels.
Let me butt in quickly. We need to go on a break. When we return from that break, I'll let you wrap up the things you're trying to say. And from that point, we'll go to England and talk about a big one for the weekend in the English Premier League. Let's go on that break now and return to wrap things up on Sports Tonight. All right, welcome back. We still have Alfred Okoligbe and Ikenna Okechukwu with us. Alfred was trying to wrap things up on what he was saying about the rivalry between Rivers United and Enyimba, and you were talking about how some things seem to be working for Rivers United.
The things that for me that's not really working is their travels. The away games they've played this season, their last visit was to Katsina United. They lost by the odd goal. They lost 2-1. They lost on the road to Kano Pillars. They've dropped points on the road, and that's my worry for them. So I think the challenge for Rivers United is to, as much as possible, if they can keep it tight in Aba, they will stand a chance. But if they allow Enyimba to roll over them, it will become very difficult, because the Enyimba that we have now is a team really good form, rich vein of form. They pick their point. They might not have scored so many goals, but they can find the back of interesting. Omoyele, they have a good striker. He's waiting with 3 goals now. You have other players, and as well, somebody like Iwala, Anayo Iwala. The first time I saw that guy was when he was playing for Delta Force. I joined Enyimba. The way he cuts in from the side, that guy can wreck any defense. So for Enyimba, Fatai Osho comes with bags of experience. He's done well with the team. Of course, so for me, the incentive just puts a different skew to it. Rivers just they've shown their hands. They want this game and they want it desperately. For the neutrals, if that game had been, if the stadium, maybe we had fans coming in, I can tell you that fans will walk from Port Harcourt, because the trip from Port Harcourt to Aba is a very, very short trip. It's like heading from Lagos to Ijebu. It's a very short trip, and the Port Harcourt team, they love their team. They would have filled that stadium to come see them. So this is good advertisement if you ask me for Nigerian football. And we want to see very good outing by both teams. All right.
Want to see? Yeah.
Victor Boma is most likely to play for Enyimba. He hasn't played for a while. So it's a huge boost for the team. He's a proven scorer. He's a proven player. So it will be it's going to be a tough game, really.
It is.
And I'm hearing that it might be on air.
Oh, okay.
Might be televised live. So we'll see back and enjoy a very wonderful game.
All right. So there's no better advertisement for Nigerian football than that game that you're going to see over the weekend. The Aba Elephants taking on Rivers United. And like Alfred said, you're going to get to see that kind of game 3 times within the space of 2 weeks. That's very interesting. All right, let's move on now as we prepare to wrap things up on the show. We have a little time to spend on the English Premier League. Let's take a look at the fixtures. Everybody already talking about Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester City. The last time they played was victory for Tottenham, but a lot has changed since the time Tottenham beat Manchester City. Their defense has improved. They're scoring even without their main strikers. And a lot has changed. And a lot of people feel it might be a bridge too far for Tottenham to cross. But these are the fixtures. Leicester City up against Liverpool. Crystal Palace will take on Burnley. Manchester City, Tottenham, the Etihad. Brighton will take on Aston Villa. These matches will be played on Saturday. You also have Southampton against Wolverhampton Wanderers. West Bromwich Albion take on Manchester United. Arsenal will take on Leeds United, the Emirates, and of course Everton will take on Fulham Goodison Park. These are the matches for Sunday in the English Premier League. Let me go to EK now first. A lot of interesting matches, but I want you to focus on Tottenham
Man City.
Manchester City. Even Jose Mourinho agrees that a lot has changed.
Yeah, a lot has changed. At the beginning of the season, everyone thought Tottenham was going, we're going to get something.
We're calling them contenders.
Yes, contender, but they're not far off. It's just 7 points separating the two teams, first and 8. Just 7 points separating them. So if he wins this game, he's going to close the gap to 4.
But if he loses?
If he loses, it expands. But these are the kind of games Mourinho likes to play. Okay, when the odds are stacked against him.
He's going to lock shop. But that has not been working because his defenders, they're shipping in goals,
yes,
as if he's going out of fashion.
Yes. But I think he needs to talk. He needs to motivate them. He needs to talk to them. You understand? It's not all is not lost. The thing is, I know we've gone beyond the halfway stage. But if they get this game, if they just get this game, win this game, that will be 4 points behind City.
Right.
But one thing I know about City is when they're up there, it's difficult to dislodge them.
Okay. All right. Let me go to Alfred. That's going to be your parting shot on the show because we don't really have much time. In a minute, if you can, Alfred, help us out. Manchester City and Tottenham. Where do you think the pendulum will swing?
All his life, even from the Spanish La Liga, Mourinho has been looking for how to deconstruct Pep Guardiola. And like Ikenna said, when they are in this kind of form, only today was awarded the EPL Manager of the Month. His player, Gundogan, got the player of the month. When Manchester City gets into this kind of gear, and when the options they have up front, Gundogan, Foden, Jesus, or what you call Jesus, everybody kicks into gear. Raheem Sterling, yeah, very, very, very difficult team to stop. And if there's anything that can stop it, I don't think it's going to be Tottenham Hotspur this weekend. For me, it's a one-way traffic.
All right, so that's what Alfred is calling it, one-way traffic. If it turns out the other way, I'll remind you on Friday when next we see. But Alfred, I want to thank you for your time on the show today. We'll do this again next week. All right.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Okay. All right. So that's Alfred. Alfred. All right. Before we go, he made a call. You didn't. You analyzed it. Few seconds before we go. Where's he going to?
Draw.
A draw. All right. I'll remind you as well. I'll remind you. Whatever happens. That's a wrap on the show. First, I want to thank Ikenna Okechukwu for being with me on the show. Thanks for being here. We'll do this again some other time.
Yeah, sure. Very sure.
All right. Thank you as well for allowing us to be a part of your day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We're back here next week. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.